I recently did build this 3.5-inch drone and I would like to give you a real-world review. I would like to start with the frame. This is a 3.5-inch frame and it's definitely not a beginner's build. The design is sleek, the carbon quality is excellent, and once it's all together, the frame feels incredibly rigid and stable in the air. But the build process was rather challenging. I actually had to rely on a YouTube tutorial to figure out the best order to assemble everything properly. So it took me quite a while. That said, the layout is really well thought through. There's even a small space here under the frame to tuck away the receiver, which helps to reduce the clutter and leave space for other components. It's really a clever design. Here in front we have the stack. In the back we have the VTX, which makes sense due to the antenna. That said, it's quite complex to set up. Regarding the stack, I have chosen a Speedybee F405 Mini. It's really solid and quite feature-rich. However, it was really a headache finding the right place for the capacitor. I put it here in front, which was a headache, but I still managed to put it in front, and it's quite a tight squeeze. When you choose this setup, you have to reverse the stack, and you have to keep in mind that you reverse your orientation in beta flight so that you don't mess up with your first flight. What I figured out when I powered up the motors the first time, that two of the motors wouldn't spin. After a bit of head scratching and troubleshooting, I figured that it was the ESC to flight controller ribbon cable. It wasn't seated properly. It turns out I wasn't the only one. Just 2 days ago I found another builder on Reddit who did run the same problem. So it seems to be a more common problem. Reseating the cable solved it instantly. But it's something you have to basically look out when you use the stack and ESC. Regarding the receiver, I did start with the Fly 14 Plus on FlySky. When I did fly the second time this drone, it would simply fall off the sky about 10 meters from the starting place due to an RX loss. I'm linking a video with that. So I swapped this receiver to ELRS and the Radio Master Pocket. That was a massive improvement. Rock solid link quality, easy to set up. Honestly, switching to ELRS was one of the best choices I actually made. Another thing which I would like to mention is the camera. It's the Caddx Ratel. It's a great camera, really excellent low light performance, crisp image quality, but it's a little bit too small for the camera plates. Getting it mounted took me quite some creativity, and I did order some screws to reduce them in length to make it work. So it wasn't easy to set up, but finally I managed it. Another great choice was the VTX, which is the Sologood VTX. It has an excellent signal. I'm really impressed with it in terms of strength and image quality. It also holds up in challenging spots. Anyhow, the antenna here doesn't really fit quite well the frame. I had to bend it to make it actually work. So probably changing the antenna would be a good idea. Another thing which I would like to mention are the motors. These are T1604 motors. It took me 6 weeks to get them because they were sold out. But the choice was excellent. I really love them. They deliver smooth and responsive throttle, freestyle and cruising effortlessly. It's a great motor for this 3.5-inch drone. When setting them up with the flight controller, I accidentally tried D-Shot 600, but the flight wasn't really great. It was twitchy, unstable, not confidence-inspiring. So I figured out the error. I switched to bidirectional D-Shot 300, and the difference was like night and day. The quad flew instantly smoother, and I only had to tweak a little bit the pits, but not too much. The default tune was surprisingly locked in. Finally, the main camera, the Runcam Thumb V2, is to my mind an excellent camera. Sometimes it has an issue in starting up. You have to power it up twice, so just unplugging and replugging the LiPos. But when you look at the HD footage, especially after adding it with Gyroflow, you end up with excellent quality. Gyroflow and the Runcam Thumb is a great combo, which is really hard to beat. You get smooth, stabilized cinematic footage, and it's really lightweighted. To sum it up, the drone has a tight layout. I love the frame. It wasn't super easy to get it together, but still it was fine. The drone flies incredibly well. I love the performance. It's nimble, it's responsive, it's surprisingly quiet. It handles tight flight lines and freestyle with confidence. If you research the internet, many builders have the same experience with the setup. It's a tricky build phase, but still it's an excellent frame. It's a great setup, and you have to put in some time and effort to build this, but it's an excellent flying experience, and I really can recommend the setup.